Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Pirk's View. Sadly, we have run out of guests for today, and I think I have to make my podcast on my own. Wait, what?
Who's another guests?
Wait,
Who
what?
said you have me as a guest?
Okay, everyone, and welcome to the third edition of Pirk's View. Today we have a wonderful guest, Ardi. Welcome to the podcast. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, I'm Ardi Jorganxhiu. I'm 19 years old and I'm a student at Eskişehir Technical University studying computer engineering field.
Your
And
stud?
I'm today guest of Perks View podcast.
And also the editor of the podcast, if
Yes,
you'd like to say so. You're studying computer engineering, right?
right.
Yeah, how is that going? Like in this
It's
pandemic
going
time?
very well. It's going very well. It's a field that I was always interested in. I'm just very happy that I'm studying this field.
How did you come to study computer engineering? Like, where did this start?
Well, for the start, I can say it started maybe from childhood because since a child I was playing video games in PlayStation. Since 4 or 5 years old, we had a PlayStation One, and I was playing PlayStation games like Crash Bandicoot, Spider-Man, the most popular PlayStation One games that you know. And I was grown with them. I was always having fun playing them, and they were very interesting to me. And then when we bought a PC, I decided to download some games there. And when I downloaded some games, I realized that some of them weren't playing well because I had FPS drops and some of them even weren't starting. But as a child, where could I know that every game has a system requirements, that computer has parts that cannot be stronger to play every game? And I decided to make researches about it. Why doesn't my game start, or why does my game lag? And I realized that every game has a system requirement, and I just started to make research about my computer parts. That how are they, what do they work about, and then I decided that I am interested in this field because for years I made researches about this computer parts. That which one is better, why is it better, what are the parts of it, what does it make it stronger, what is a good PC or bad PC. So that's the part that I decided to study this field. So because of this interest, I decided that also in school found myself that I was interested maybe in mathematics, physics, just to make calculations, not like, for example, biology or geography, learning things to keep in your mind. And that was a factor too.
Like, I've seen you doing some amazing projects, like with robotics and such.
Yes.
Like, we had a science fair last year. Like, would you like to explain or just tell the audience about your project?
Oh, okay. In 12th grade, we last year we had the science fair, and I was in high school too. And when I was told about that, I decided to participate, make something about technology because I know most of students will make about physics, chemistry, or biology maybe. I decided to make something in technology, but first of all, I didn't have any project idea in my mind. First, I decided to make something about programming to show people what is programming, how does it work, how interesting can it be. But when I talked with my brother about this, he told me that you can make something about robotics because that's a part of programming. So you can program a hardware, a microchip, and show people that how technology has become something very important in our life. That how these parts are made. And my brother had a friend. He studied electronics engineering, and he helped me in the project we made in science fair. As a matter of fact, he gave me the idea because I didn't have any idea about the science fair. And the idea was we decided to make something interactive, not something that people would come and I would talk about it, but something interactive. I don't know if you have gone to gym in your life.
Like, yeah. I've gone to the gym. Yeah,
Uh,
I used to work
yes, you
out.
know that when you try to enter the gym, you have a card and you just read the card to enter it.
Oh, so yeah. Like, you have no idea how many times I couldn't enter the gym because I didn't have my card. But yeah.
Yes, yes. So we decided to make something like that. We had an Arduino kit with RFID, and we had RFID cards, and they had all their codes, their chips inside. They had a specific code, and we had the RFID reader, they call it. And when you read the RFID there, it reads the code, the chip inside. So what we did, we changed the code to a name. In fact, the chip, not that code, the part that shows what is the serial number of it, we
Yeah.
change it to names. For example, when I read the card, it will appear in an LCD, Aron Pirko or Ardi Jorganxhiu. So that's why the project was very interesting in science fair, because it was interactive. People were seeing and were just saying that, wow, how you did that? It's kind of very difficult to do it. And they started to require from me to write their names, to type their names. It was very interactive, and most of people had fun with my project. And I
You
had fun too, explaining to them how the good project was.
you got good reviews basically. Like I remember the students were talking about this. Even today, like people say there was this one guy with like the gym cards and such. Like you got good reviews, like I have to say. I was
Yes,
present. Like I wasn't the one to come up to talk because I was shy back then, but yes, I was present. I remember seeing that. It was an amazing
yes.
project. Like how is that going today, like about computer engineering? Like what do you guys study? Because I
Well, first of all, if you come to the part of computer engineering, sorry to
no
interrupt you,
worries.
but computer engineering is mainly based on computers. You can learn about computer, about the parts of it, how does it work, and mostly in computer engineering, you will learn about programming.
Programming.
Maybe most of people have learned about programming languages. That programming is made to create programs to make people's life easier or to invent something.
See, like that's the
And
thing.
all,
You know,
yeah,
everyone I know, like most people either want to study like medicine or like computer engineering because first of all, programming is like the future basically. Like, have you heard this saying? Like, the future is technology, and
yes,
what better way to advance technology than by advancing it yourself? Like Bill Gates, yeah. Bill Gates didn't like he wasn't huge. Like he started out like just as us, you know. He was a college
yes,
student. He had an idea. He brought a team, and they made something revolutionary. Today we both use Windows, for example. Like, what's
yes.
your idea on that?
Well, I can't say about future because even now technology has become a part of our life. For example, most of the things we do now is we do it with technology. For example, it's the pandemic of the coronavirus pandemic, and we mostly have our lessons during online sessions.
Yeah,
And most of our jobs we do now, they are made all by emails. For example, when we want to send someone a message, we type an email, or we use applications like Facebook Messenger, Twitter, or Instagram to communicate with people. So from here we can understand that technology has become a part of our life, because everything we do now, we do it with computers, we do with electronic things. It's not like the old times. For example, drawing something. For example, in architecture, maybe you can use a program to draw a house easier, not to draw with his hand because it's more difficult. But with computer, you can draw it more easier. Or, for example, sending a message to someone. For example, you can send an email and it goes immediately. And if the other person you are sending it has an internet connection, you will see email, then you will start a conversation. So mainly, technology has become a part of our life, like oxygen. It's hard to remove it now from our life.
like I heard Elon Musk say this once. Like we're already cyborgs. Like this is an extension of ours because
Yes,
he gave like this really good theory. Like people are already like really interactive with technology. It's only a matter of time before it just becomes a living part of them. You know what I mean? And
yes.
and that's something I wanted to ask an opinion of yours actually. What do you think about AI, artificial intelligence?
Artificial intelligence. Well, I knew artificial intelligence from video games because usually when you make characters in a single player game, you have to give them an artificial intelligence in order to react with them. But artificial intelligence nowadays has been improved a lot because now artificial intelligence is becoming a part of our life. everything we do now, it has an artificial intelligence. For example, even this phone that is Redmi Note 7, his camera, this has an artificial intelligence. Can you believe it? Who could say that the camera could have an artificial intelligence?
Like,
No
yeah,
one
that's the
could
thing.
predict it.
Like maybe like not now, like but maybe in like 100 years, like there won't be a need for doctors or teachers or architects. Like maybe
Yes.
like there will be like robots who do this sort
I
of
hope
thing.
we don't come to that days because it's
Yeah,
going to be
me
very
too.
difficult.
Let's say,
Because it's going to be like Terminator, you know?
yeah,
Maybe
like
I've
that's the
watched that.
thing. We've
The
watched,
life will become as a Terminator. Everything is done by robots, and it's coming to the end of the world.
like the end of the human race. Like you're creating
Yes,
something that just becomes sentient. And like what do you do then? Like you
yes,
can't tell it to stop because it's already thinking on its own.
yes. So that's why we don't come to the days that robots will substitute humans in jobs in life.
And like that's the thing you mentioned about programming at first, because I too am planning on studying computer sciences or computer engineering, whatever it's called.
Yes, I hope you will become a good engineer.
Yeah, thank you. And I've started like programming, what was it, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I think. And I mainly started like on web developing and like
Yes,
front end, back end, like that sort of thing. Like,
yes. One of the most popular not
eh,
programming but scripted languages like
yeah,
HTML
yeah.
for web.
But then I started like getting into Java. Like I'm recently started to learn Java, and like that's the thing.
Yes.
It's
Is it
interesting.
difficult?
I mean, it's not difficult, but it's interesting. Like you need to use a lot of logic. For
Yes.
example, if you want to make a calculus table, like you have to have logic about it. You have to think, okay, like I'll start this loop, this does this, and if this works, then it will lead to another
Yes.
program. Like it's just a step by step thing, and it's really interesting. I have to say, like, because when I started like programming, things I do were, okay, this page is gonna have a green background, it's gonna have a blue button here, it's gonna have a picture
Yes.
here. But
That parts are
now it's like, I have to think before I do
yes.
something.
Uh, I feel very happy about you that you have started programming like 2 or 3 years ago, not like me starting last year without any idea. Because I always wanted to study computers, but I never was interested about software. I was always interested in hardware. How does a computer work? And I didn't make about researches at how does computer engineering goes. What is the major studies that I will learn? But then when I found out the programming is going to become a part of my job, I just started to doubt at myself because can I do this programming thing? Because I haven't had any experience about it. And sometimes even when I just looked at some people doing coding, they had compilation errors or maybe a mistake in code. I was just looking at it, it seemed very difficult to me. It's not because I don't have any idea what the coding is. So that's the part where I decided to join the course that is JCoders Academy. I want to thank them for teaching me the Python programming, the Arduino. It's it brought me a lot of experiences that will be very helpful in my university life. And within the 3 months, we learned about Python. We learned the basic programming, the OOP, the object oriented graphical user interface. And within a month, I understood that programming isn't that difficult as it seems because people usually look at programming like something is used for hacking, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've gotten a lot of that.
Even, I guess, even your friends say, can you hack an Instagram
Yeah, I've
account?
actually gotten that. Like either A, hack an Instagram account, or B, get me free Wi-Fi, which come on.
Yes,
We're
because
programmers.
most people doesn't have any idea about it, and I think it's used hacking. But they see in movies, like for example, people are coding very fast there, and it's used for hacking.
But that's not accurate actually. Like when you see like programmers in movies, like they're always in this dark room wearing a hood or wearing a mask, and they're just
Yes,
like their fingers are moving really fast. Like that's not accurate.
with three screens.
Yeah, like that's not accurate. Like that's the thing.
Yes,
Like coding is something you do for like to create something, to make a program, to make like something. You don't just go this and type like random numbers and just do something. Like this is it's not the Matrix. You know what I'm saying?
yes. So that's why most people don't think that hacking is a part of our job or
Like
mainly our job.
You have no idea the amount of weird stuff I've heard about, like technology and such. Like, there's this theory going around that 5G spreads coronavirus. Like, can you actually believe that?
Yes, I heard the news about that. When I read an article, I understood that they are fake news because most of people doesn't don't know about radio towers or corona, and they are making news. Just it seems interesting and a bit logical to them.
Like, how does it make any sense? Like, for example, like if like okay, I have like a tower like right here, like next to my house. Like, if that spread coronavirus,
Yes.
like how does that have any logic? Like, if that spread coronavirus, this should spread it too. Like, imagine you're just texting one day and bam, you get coronavirus.
Or maybe while we do this podcast, we get coronavirus.
live footage from the Corona podcast. But like, that's the thing. There are
Yes.
a lot of people who are unexperienced and don't have enough information who just come up with like random theories. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, like you mentioned the hacking, the coronavirus, and such. And I feel like people should feel like get more in touch with technology. Because like it's developing every day. Like
Yes.
the
Not
technology.
just buying iPhones to take photos or use
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, but to make more research about that.
Like, how does that
Not
iPhone
saying like,
function?
learning parts of telephone, but maybe that what is the main function of a phone? What can you do? The settings parts, the I don't know. There are a lot of things that they can learn, but most people don't make researches. They just buy, for example, an iPhone just to take photos and just to say, "Hey, bro, I have an iPhone."
Yeah, just the flex.
Yes.
Just the flex. Like, that's the
Maybe
thing.
if most of the people would do researches about technology, maybe they would know not like us, maybe technology, but more than they know about it.
Like, that's the thing. Like, with like research, for example, I can do a lot of things on my own. Like, a lot, like fix a lot of things in my laptop, fix a lot of things in my phone. Like, thing is, like, people charge for that. Like, if you want to, for example, activate, like, let's say Windows, like, people charge for that. Meanwhile, like, I can do that. Like, you can do that.
Yes.
I can do that. You actually showed me a way to do that, like last week,
For what?
to activate Windows for free.
Ah, right. Yes, it's with CMD command prompt.
Yeah, like,
It's not that difficult. Even if you type how to activate Windows using CMD, it will just show you 3 steps that you can do it in your own. It doesn't require any a lot
of
a lot
knowledge.
information about technology. It's showing
Yeah,
you step by step. What will you do? Where will you enter? What will you type? And that's maybe why I learned more about technology because I used Google a lot to make how to, for example, how to download this game, how to fix this problem, how to fix this error. That's the reason that I'm maybe more informed about technology.
yeah, like that's the thing. People think that you have to study something, you have to have a degree. No, all you have to do is just Google. Like, it's 2020, Google, people. And
Yes, just Google.
like that's the
You
thing.
have a lot of things there.
And like that's the thing. Like, my love for like technology, computers, and such was the same as yours. Like, video games. Like, I still to this day
Yes,
play a lot of video games. Like, five
me
minutes
too. When I have free times, I usually play video games.
Like, 5 minutes before the podcast started, you told me that GTA 5 was free. Like, I didn't know this, but GTA
Yes.
5 is free. Like, you heard it here. Like, if you have time, people, after listening to this podcast, just go and get GTA 5 and thank us later.
Yes, because it's a game still popular, even though it is released on 2013.
Like, how? Like, when you think about it, GTA is like a perfect game. Good graphics, good gameplay,
Well,
good concept.
GTA, yes,
Like, when you play GTA, like, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Like, you drive cars, you do heists, you kill people, I guess. And that's the thing, it's fun, like people want to play that. Like,
yes, because it's an open world game. You have a lot of things to do inside. You can do the storyline, you can go to missions, you can steal a car and drive it like crazy, or respecting the traffic rules.
when you're bored.
You can do sports, for example, playing football, playing basketball, golf, baseball,
You
or you
can
can
even
do
play
different kind
tennis.
of crazy things. For example, using a jet to drive like crazy, or throwing yourself from air, or committing a suicide. It's an open world game that uh, reacts to everyone. For example, you don't like the missions, you can do the open world. You don't like the open world, you can do the missions. It's that simple.
Like you can do a lot of things. For example, I remember like this is one thing I did. Like I went to the police station and I just had a car like full of sticky bombs. And I remember just driving, parking my car, leaving the
Yes.
area and just exploding. I just seeing the boom, the explosion. Like that is fun interactive gameplay
Yes.
like right there. That's the formula. Make more games like that.
Yes.
But
Yes. Even though this idea, for example, you are telling that you did this, even though if GTA would release a new game with this idea, it would make you feel excited because it's an open world. You can design your not design yourself, but you can do things like your own city, and no one will question you about doing things that, for example, stealing a car. No one will question you in real life. Why did you steal a car in GTA 5?
like could you imagine that? Why? You're arrested. Why? You stole a car in
Why
GTA.
did you kill him? Why did you do the haste?
Like that's the thing. Like video games are like always getting better and better. Like last year we had like a lot of hits. Like we had the new Assassin's Creed game. We had the new
Yes.
Spider-Man game. Like you've played them both, I think. You've played the Spider-Man game. Have you played the new Assassin's Creed game?
No, I didn't. I just left Assassin's Creed series at Black Flag.
But like that's the thing. Video games are always like expanding. Like this the new Spider-Man game, for example. Like I've heard it's one of the best games of the year. Like
A definite bargain.
and it came out last year. Like when the game like came out, like it came out the same year as God of War. Like I saw these two games, and I was like, wow. I saw the graphics, the gameplay, the story, and it felt like something. For example, like when I see a lot of people, I see them saying video games are a waste of time. Like I could agree to a point, but not fully because like you can learn a lot of things from video games. Like it sparked like our love for technology, if you can say that.
Yes.
Like what are your favorite video games basically? If somebody just, or in this case, if I were to ask you what your favorite video games are, what would you say? Like five favorite video games.
Five favorites. Well, it depends nowadays because video games are changing a lot. They have improved a lot in graphics, in physics, in everything, in every detail they have developed. But for the first place, maybe I could choose Crash Bandicoot. Not just maybe it's the game of the decade or game of the century, but that's because that's a special place in my heart. Because I was grown playing Crash Bandicoot games at my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Then for the second, maybe I can choose Uncharted because it's a great franchise. For the third, I can choose The Last of Us
The Last of Us.
because even as even as the last as a single game that is right now, the second part is coming next month. It impressed me a lot with the story and the details of the game that was made. And if we come to the fourth and fifth, I don't know. I can choose maybe FIFA for the fourth because I play it a lot
Oh, you play a lot of
during my free
FIFA.
times.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, because I'm a football fan and I enjoy playing FIFA. And for the fifth, I don't have any idea. There are a lot of games.
Like all of the
Maybe I
games
can choose
listed.
Spider-Man,
Okay,
Spider-Man
sure.
franchise.
Like that's the thing. Like I see a lot of people playing FIFA. Like me personally, I'm not a huge football fan. Like I know I
Yes.
may offend a lot of people by saying that, but I remember playing FIFA once with my friend, and he just legit tore me to shreds. Like he legit played. He made me a ball and played FIFA with it. Like I suck at football, but I've played a few of the FIFA games. I even own a few of them for like PlayStation 3. And the thing is, I see with FIFA games is that they are like the same game, but with just like a new upload like every year. Like, do you agree with that? Since you play a lot of FIFA.
Well, unfortunately, the last games of FIFA, that is true. It's the same game with new features of Ultimate Team, the online session of FIFA, and with some different features added to the career mode and just changing the transfers and the kit of teams.
Yeah,
So there's nothing special.
I played FIFA and like like I don't remember exactly which game it is. I think it was 2018. Like Cristiano Ronaldo was like a 98 score, and in 2020 or
Yes,
20,
yes.
he was like a 90 score. I was like okay, I might
No, 93, 94. Yes, 94.
like I may be offending a lot of FIFA fans. Like nothing wrong with FIFA. I just don't see the reasoning about like I'd rather have it into patches, like have like one FIFA game that gets updated and updated and updated than like get re-releases every year. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes, yes, I understand you, but that's most of people say to the EA corporation. They say you are just releasing the same game every year, but just changing the kits and adding some simple features to the Ultimate Team, and you are just selling it about 50 or 60.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Okay,
That is very
this will be another beep.
okay. And when you look at it, the fans are telling the truth that the game is the same every year. It's not changing a lot. The biggest change that FIFA had was from 16 to 17 when they changed the game model to Frostbite. That changed the game, truly changed it a lot, with a lot of details and physics, and even the gameplay was different. But what I'm saying it is that EA is just selling maybe the same game every year, but they are trying to win a lot of money from FIFA, especially from Ultimate Team. They just get about $1 million in for a year in Ultimate Team from FIFA.
Microtransactions, right?
Yes, $1 billion.
Like I saw this about I think it was Battlefront 2 if I'm not mistaken. Like it was a huge scandal. Like EA lost a lot of money, a lot of customers because
Yes,
they openly said that they just don't want to make a single player game. And like that's the sad part about it. Like most games today, like most online games, have some sort of microtransactions. Like I know because
yes.
like I play League and even League developed a system for that. Like, how does that work? Like that sucks. That just takes the fun out. For example, like if a guy beats you because he has something better unlocked because he paid more than you, that just defeats the purpose of like skill.
Yes, but when you look at nowadays, games are made just to make more money, not for a fun gameplay, but just to make more money. When you look at games nowadays, most people play PUBG, Fortnite, like FIFA PES, because they are multiplayer online games that people play with each other, and they have microtransactions that people, even they don't like it, they just still buy that because they don't want to lose time enough, for example, to gain a level, to gain, for example, a skill for free for a game. I'm saying not for PES or FIFA or any kind of game,
Yeah, to
but they
grind.
are just preferring to buy it for $3 or $4, and they are not that expensive. For example, it's for $3, but when you pay once, it's not a problem maybe, but when you start to pay it like 2, 3, or 4 times, it's because you are charging yourself with the same game price that you have bought.
Like I've heard this story about this guy who legit lost his fortune on video game microtransactions. Like he got banned because he was buying so much. Like I don't know if you've heard this. I think it was a
Which
guy.
game?
Like I don't know which game it was, but it was a guy in China. He was just investing so much in it. Like he had his
Ah,
own.
yes, I heard it. I think it was an MMORPG game, but I don't
Yeah,
remember which one.
because like I'm not a huge MMO like fan. Like most people who
Yes,
play MMOs like want to grind out, have like the perfect character to beat the bosses, and they're prepared to go like at any length to do that. May that be like pay for it. I've seen a lot of cheaters. Like cheaters just ruin the game's like fun. Like
especially the cheaters ruin the multiplayer games. That's why I'm staying away from multiplayer games because of cheaters.
you used to play multiplayer games, right?
Yes, I used to play CS:GO. I think it was in 2016. I was playing the game every weekend. Yes, I was playing the multiplayer competitive games. But when I figured out that cheaters are appearing a lot and the Valve isn't doing anything just to ban them easily, I decided to leave the multiplayer games because it's not for me. I just want to enjoy the game, not raging inside the house for the cheaters.
Like that's the thing with me. I'm a huge League of Legends fan. I've been playing it for like ages now.
Yes.
And like recently I've started to get into ranked. And let me tell you, if coronavirus was a game, it would be League of Legends. Or rather League of Legends matchmaking. Because like when you get into game like
Well,
yeah,
I didn't play the League of Legends, but I saw most of my friends that play. They say that it makes you a cancer.
like imagine like you get into game and you're like, okay, I'm gonna play a good game, I'm gonna do this and win. But then your teammates are like, nope, you're not winning today, buddy, and just end up like either throwing because they're not listening to your calls, or just throwing because they're legit mad. Like I've had some games where my team all they had to do was listen and we'd win, but they were like, nope, like why? What's the point of winning? Like let's lose. It's fun to lose,
Yes,
and that's
because
that
losing is
ruins.
part of the game.
Yeah, but that ruins the fun, Like if you lose like in purpose, you're not just ruining it for yourself, you're ruining it for like your teammates as well. Like don't forget League of Legends is not like one player game. Like nine other players are playing with you. Four of those players are on your team.
Yes.
Like you're making the game like bad for four other players just because you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes, unfortunately, there are players that just try to ruin the game. Not at League of Legends, but also at CS:GO, PUBG, or Dota. Even though PUBG is single player, it's a single multiplayer game. You play on your own. You sometimes call your friends to play it as teams, and there are people that just try that love to ruin
Yeah,
your gameplay session
like
just
that's the
because they
thing.
lost,
Like they can't rage a lot. Like I know this. I've
especially.
seen a lot of videos on YouTube, like a lot of videos on Reddit. I've seen guys like smashing up their PCs, smashing up like their keyboards. And when I see that, like I feel for them, but at the same time, like just stop, man. Like just quit the game,
Yes.
like go for a walk, go to the gym, do something productive. Because like when I play League and lose, like we're quarantined now, but I used to go for a walk. I still kind of do, to be honest. Like you could go for a walk, maybe like take a shower, relax. Like you lost, you had a bad game. Like that's the thing. Like people are taking video games not seriously, but they're having damages from them, and that has led to a lot of like fake news. I have to say that video games like they they cause like aggression, they cause depression,
Violence.
yeah, violence. Like to me it's just if you're violent it's not necessarily the video game's fault, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I understand you. Well, for that part that people are raging, I can understand why are they, because they are trying to get to a higher rank, to the highest rank of that game that exists. But I don't know. Even though if you would be, for example, I'm taking example of CS:GO. Even though if you would be the global, what will that give you? The
Yeah,
vault won't pay you because you became global, or that won't become your job. Of course, if you don't choose esports for your professional career, that's something different. But people are raging, just they are taking the game so seriously. But I think that games are played for fun, just to take off your stress or to lose time. For example, even though I study for university lessons for my exams, sometimes when I'm free, I prefer to play video games rather than to watch movies. It's all about people. How do they have fun?
but like
And I always occasionally play single player games because I don't like to play multiplayer raging myself a lot in games. I don't rage, but I just feel kind of that I want to rage to them because they're just ruining my gameplay session, my gameplay fun.
like that's the thing, video games have evolved a lot. Like video games like are officially known as a sport, like esports. Like I remember like
Yes,
when League of Legends first started, they had the first like season, the first tournament, and only 20 people came to watch that. Like 20 people sitting in like plastic chairs and just cheering for the two teams. Nowadays, like when you
yes,
hear about League of Legends tournament or like a CS:GO tournament, like there's an arena full of people who are cheering. Like it's considered an official sport. Like I saw this kid who participated in like this competition for Fortnite, I guess, and he legit like won a few million bucks. he won like I think it was $4 million just by being the last one standing. Like,
Yes.
imagine you're like you love like Fortnite, for example, and you just hear about this tournament, and you just get $4 million just doing what you love, you know. Like, to me, that's insane
Yes.
because like there are a lot of guys I know that love to play video games that may have a future like in esports, and like this is like a today thing, you know. Like, you didn't have esports like 10 years ago, you didn't have them like back then playing video games was just like wasting time and a waste of effort. Nowadays it gives people like I think an opportunity, you know, like to pursue a career, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Yes, I understand you. But for esports, that esports has become more popular nowadays. Even though in older times, since Counter Strike 1.6, I'm surely have played that game because I
Yeah,
don't know
of
anyone that
course, of
didn't play it.
course.
And I don't know if you have heard, but there were esports since CS 1.6, but they weren't much popular. They were just connecting to local area networks, and they were just playing with each other. And also there was a prize, but not like $4 million, maybe a $50, $100, $500. It depended on how much the tournament was that popular and how much the financial charge of it. So, but esports now has become a professional job for people. For example, can you believe it? Playing, for example, you are playing League of Legends and you're going to win $4 million if you win, for example, 20 games
Like, that just,
without losing.
yeah, like, but like there are teams, you know, like that's the thing. When you play League of Legends ranked, you either can play like a solo game or like a duo game. Like, it counts towards the same rank, but only like you can play with one person other than yourself as like a squad. Like, imagine having like four other peoples that you're really coordinated with. You know what they're gonna do. Like, that just gives a lot more. Like, imagine I have a team of like five people and I'm playing against another team of five people. Like, that gives you like it gives you room to think. Like, you have to coordinate, you have to make up a strategy, a plan, because like there's a price at stake, you know. And that to me is fun, not this
Yes,
raging thing.
yes. Of course, now multiplayer games, most of them usually require strategy and tactics in order to play it. But I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable playing a game with tactics and strategies. For example, I play single player games. I know what am I going to do. I know the combat, and I'm just having fun. For example, killing people there.
Wow, you heard it here
But
first.
you know, you said that part that video games are causing violence. Well, it's a bit true. Maybe most of childs now that play, for example, games with violence, they are impressed of it and trying to using in real life. But for me, I never tried to do them because I know they weren't something legal to do it. They weren't some good things to do. I was just doing to have fun,
You never
just
tried
to
to steal a
comfort
car.
myself.
Like, you never tried to
Yes,
steal a car in GTA and plant sticky
yes.
bombs on it.
I just left that things inside the video games.
And like that's the thing. Like, you know, like when this first like the pandemic started, people were like making a huge deal. Like, they were stocking up on things, and like this thought came to mind. Like, I've played so many video games. Like, if we were to come to an apocalypse, like I'd be ready. You know what I'm saying? Like a zombie apocalypse, let's say, or like
Yes,
an infectious disease, like The Last of Us. You've played The Last of Us.
of course, one of the best video games of the
Yeah,
decade.
and I agree. Like, most people would be ready. Like, they just would like to see that. I was disappointed because all we're doing is just staying home. It just defeats the purpose of an apocalypse.
Yes. Well, yes, I know. I didn't play that much apocalypse games, like, for example, The Walking Dead. Do you know the game of Telltale Games about The Walking Dead?
Oh
Maybe I've
yeah,
played.
yeah. I played a few
Yeah,
episodes of it.
maybe people much of that expect to something like that to happen. For example, there was a movie, I Am Legend of Will Smith. It was an old movie,
Oh
and it was
yeah,
about zombie apocalypse. And people just seem that were asking themselves, what would happen if this would become true? For example, being alone in a city, no one is alive, and the zombie apocalypse is happening, and you're trying to find a cure to heal them and to stop them spreading. It when you look at real life, it's not that easy as video games.
Yeah, 5G doesn't cause coronavirus.
Yes, that's
Real
official news.
real
It's
life,
official.
yeah, like real life is different. Like we,
Yes.
because right now we're in the middle of a pandemic, like a lot of cases, a lot of things. But when this pandemic first started, I remember here in Kosovo, which is the country I live in, like I have this like grocery store like down the
Yes.
street. I remember going there to buy like a bottle of like water because like we were missing water that day, and I just remember seeing shelves empty and people just stocking up. And I remember asking the cashier like, "What's going on?" She's like, "Oh my God, don't even get me started. People are stocking up on things. They're buying our whole products." And I was like, "Why?" And she said, "I don't know. It's good for business. Like, not gonna lie, but it's kind of crazy. Like when you think about it, the the pandemic, yes, it's a bad thing, but it didn't come to like supplies. Like you could go out and get like supplies even during the pandemic. Like here in Kosovo, I don't know about Turkey, but here in Kosovo, like even now, like I could go get like, for example, some pasta or some bread or something, and it's not something to make a big deal about. Speaking of the pandemic, like how's that going in Turkey?
Well, nowadays the cases are starting to drop and people are healing more. But still, we need to hold this discipline in order to remove this virus forever, maybe in Turkey. But for example, I'm 19 years old and I can't go out. We are just banned to get out from our houses. And what we do, for example, we order online stuff for our own supplies or for markets, for water. Everything we do now is online.
Again, technology coming to use.
Yes, technology. If they wouldn't be, what would we do? We had to call them, and most of people now would call them, and maybe you have to wait 2 or 3 days for your supplies to come. The technology is making things easier sometimes,
Yeah, like that's the
even
thing.
though even though sometimes technology is not good as we know it, because most people now spend time with their phones, with their laptops. They don't go out. For example, you said I go for a walk. Most of people don't go. They prefer to stay at home playing video games or watching movies.
Like that's the funny thing. Like when somebody used to like stay home watch movies, they'd call him crazy. But like during this pandemic, they're helping the cause.
It's helping. Of course, it's helping.
Like I've seen
But
the memes. The memes have been great.
memes, yeah. But of course, technology helped us a lot during this pandemic for our own supplies and for our spending our time. For example, I don't know what would I do if I wouldn't play games or watch a movie. I could maybe study all day with my books, but they would finish one day.
Like yeah, that's the thing. Like even with technology, see, like this podcast is happening just because of technology. Like we're communicating with
Yes,
each other, like uploading content for the people to watch. And I truly believe that technology is the science of the future. Like if something is gonna change the world, it's gonna be technology.
of course, and it's changing nowadays, not just in future, but nowadays. When you look at older times, just electronic things to call people or to text them. But then Steve Jobs appeared with iPhone. He showed up the touchscreen. Everyone thought, "What is this? How can this even impossible?" And then the touchscreen phones became one of our parts in our life. For example, would you like to use now a Nokia 3310 or maybe a touchscreen phone like
Un-
Samsung iPhone?
Unless you have some dark business, you're gonna pick that iPhone.
Of course that's a different topic. But mostly when you want to spend your time, you will prefer a touchscreen phone because you can do everything. You can enter social media, you can call people, you can message them, you can play games, even though you can watch movies. That most of the functions that computer do, even
The
now
phone does,
phones do
yeah.
it too.
Like
Yes,
we could hold this conversation. I could record this podcast like on my phone if I wanted to, and it would turn out just as great. Like that's the thing. Like
yes,
Elon Musk
it's
said
making your
this.
life easier.
Yeah, Elon said this. He said that we're already cyborgs, like cell phones are already an extension. It's only a matter of time before they become a part of us, if you know what I mean. Like maybe like a cyborg eye or like something. Like I don't know.
Yes, I hope they don't become a part of our life. I don't know how would be our life with cyborgs.
But
Can you believe it? You're going to school and you have a cyborg teacher teaching you mathematics.
and she can just instantly recognize when you're cheating. She's like, "You're cheating." I'm like, "Oh, God damn it, she knows."
Yes. Or for example, you want to have a conversation with it, you can't have it because maybe it's not that artificial intelligence improved. It will just tell you about, for example, the limits, and it will go out
Yeah, like we have conversations
like a
with our
robotic
teachers.
life.
Yeah, like we have conversations like to our teachers maybe in class. Like you wouldn't be able to do that with AI. Like that's the thing. Like
Yes,
yes,
but
it would be like
that's used in European countries usually.
it could be more
For
productive.
Kosovo and what?
Like it could be more productive. Like you could learn a lot
Of
more,
course.
but it wouldn't be fun if you know what I'm saying.
Yes, it will be a robotic life. You are just entering the class, listening, going out, entering, listening, going out.
Yeah,
It will
it
be the
gets
same.
boring. It gets boring.
We as humans sometimes want the different things. For example, teacher coming to us saying that today we don't have lesson, we're going to do something different. So we're going to
That's
hold an exam.
today we're gonna
There is a
have an
difference
exam.
for you.
There's the difference. That has happened, and I've hated that occasion.
But that's a bad feeling too. I don't know if you have lived that feeling.
Yes,
For example, teachers coming and saying, I'm going to do an exam to you. And,
like
and maybe you didn't study well for that.
yeah, like that's the thing with like being human. But when you imagine like technology is advancing in
Yes.
so many different fields, like you could have a colony on Mars in like the next 100 years. Like, could you believe that?
Yes.
Like, how much time does it take? It takes like 4 years to go to Mars, I think. Like, just imagine
Yes.
like a colony of humans, like 4 planets away. Like, that's huge.
Of course.
Like, imagine how
It's
big of a
something
step it would be.
impossible that it seems. It
It
seems
seems,
impossible, but it's
yeah,
possible.
but like this was impossible like 15 years ago. Get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because like
Yes,
everything
I'm
seemed
understanding you very
impossible.
well.
Because these people, like let's say Elon Musk, people are saying he's a genius, people are saying he's crazy, but like to me you can't be a genius without a little dose of crazy, you know. Like he has his dreams about going to Mars and such, and like when I
Yes.
listen to him on interviews or him on podcasts, I'm like, wow, like I like this guy's determination. Like he believes in himself, he believes in technology, and he believes in the change that technology could bring.
He just believes in his dreams.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I would like to congratulate you firstly because you've done a lot of projects and things purely because you're determined and you believed in yourself. So that's a
Yes.
congratulations from me.
Yes. Thank you very much, Arun. I just want to congratulate you for about your interest of computer engineering. You know, the day I came to present you about the computer engineering field
Yeah, I remember
in
that.
high school, I can say that you were the only one maybe that you showed interest, asked questions about it, and we still discuss about this field. You sometimes ask me questions about the major studies about the field, and we just became friends with technology.
Yeah, like that's the thing. That's how our friendship started. Technology.
Yes, technology just
And I would like to thank you for being such an amazing guest, Ardi. It was a true pleasure to have you in my podcast.
yeah.
And I would like to thank
Thank you,
you
Aaron.
for even
You're
editing,
welcome.
for even editing my
You're
videos.
welcome. You're welcome. I just want to thank you again for inviting me, and it will be my first experience joining a podcast.
And I really hope you enjoyed it because it was
Yes.
really joyful for me.
Yes, I surely had fun. Did you?
Yeah, of course. Like you don't get to discuss AI like every day, you know?
Yes,
And
of course.
and this has been another edition of Pirk's View with a wonderful guest, Ardi Jorganxhiu here. And for the guys who are watching, please like the video, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I post updates there. I'll leave the links in the description. And until next
Yes.
time, stay tuned, stay home, and stay safe.